I'm waiting to rock and roll. You're in the show.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rochelle Montoya, your Navajo Nation Vice President. I'm currently in Crown Point, New Mexico, on my way back from Pueblo Pintado, New Mexico, Eastern Navajo Agency. The Abinia da Enle Aha Apia de Nebikea Bethahodzoiki, E Adishnanish Ishla, Le Pueblo Pintado, the Eya, the Senior Center with Yahigi Ani needs it. Bi di plato ton linigi on itlia ko ya sani do stwi kwagi keda hat inigi ari shi ehine kato nda atito hone neto edan linigi at eda hite nigo ya ehine kapinye Division of Aiding Long-Term Care biyado da inishigi from our Division of Health, our director Kim Russell, and the department manager Anselm Lewis, and then the senior center staff were there. And of course, we had a lot of the community members come out to celebrate the facility that is now open to the senior centers of the community of Pueblo Pintado. And as you all know, I am from that area of Navajo Nation. Ado eya na shahle na neljin hulyeden eya asto laan hailte na neljin dan. Kodo from Crown Point, they were there to help celebrate the opening of the center with the Pueblo Pintado community. So the Zembe hata zi Hawanish lej here Hatali Shishana Bedishno Ebedishna Arthur Sandoval up Pintado that naga Equa Egibanish E Lado Heta need. And then we had a blessing and offering of blessing from our local preacher from the White Horse Lake community that was there also. And again, we had all the elders there. It was such a beautiful ceremony, a beautiful way to open the facility for our elders and our elders yet to come. So it was a good turnout, and we had some of our individuals from the state of New Mexico that helped secure funding with us, with the Navajo Nation, to have the facility there. We had former leadership there. Former leadership was thanked for their participation and their collaboration to get the facility done. Just the other day, I was in the community of Santa Fe, city of Santa Fe, New Mexico State Legislature's opening day. Adi Eya Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and Hitchahadzi, the Eya, the 2024 is the Higi Eya, Yoskatigi Eya, Hut Bansis case no ein Hitchahadzi in he, New Mexico State Governor. Yisiba Nashana Nishide State Niniki Eya Tibelto. Ba Hayaniki Dobik Edest Igi Eya, Hut Ando Nito, Nahachina Eya Benina, Ina. Dahat no ya hadzi kodi do ya belton higada di nita di nida oya hajo be policies or procedures with yahigi a hajost adonito a ya alkati jakwa agi New Mexico yo tobal hahozo kedahunit inigi no ya hadzi ado nana e ya di old with yahigi isto hajo in halchina bana da huiliano leis no ella Yahatzi. And there was a lot of good points that our governor went through, and of course she thanked all of tribal leadership that was there. We had our Speaker of the Navajo Nation Council, Speaker Curley there. Chief Justice Joanne Jane was present. We had many of our council delegates from the state of New Mexico that were present also. I was able to meet with the Mescalero Apache Nation leadership. Last Friday. Yada di nido kwagi eya khut ashna nishda de no eya hinat eya nle Mescalero, their new president, their new vice president. They had three new tribal council women and men that took their oath of office last Friday. I met up with them again in Santa Fe. So a lot of collaboration. As I continuously say, Indian country needs to unite together so that we can get everything that we need from the United States. Kwagi ein hi kwacho de indo lesben na che ya di kwagi hot not hich hoda di dan no na tosana khade di la appe that's something that we still need to hold our United States government accountable to, is the treaty that we all signed with them. And there's a lot of things that go into it. The Department of Interior, Secretary Holland with Yasho ya Kisani Lele na Laguna Acomada Ako ya Joshe Adona Shaya New Mexico do yo tobat hahodzogi Bashil Hujoro Njinigo ya Shanan Nishbilish Ako Ebena ya di Quagi Kane Jako Ehine Kako Ehilta Hudnago Adi bin Yathadia Tuesday ya da Ado Monday ya da ya di Quagi Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday the office of the president and vice president anda shilnish ko asahi date on kwagi in handelnish do bisndale nishigi kwagi in kana jahagi with libe that on hanseda case do junago that ilista no kwagi in kana jacobenana shidesh echo he habitation do di kwat salon linigi do EMS do fire department ko den sesigi sto kwagi asahi dat on banana shide sto heta bedi ni do le aro di nayos kasko di le nats ando ol jetoro shanto do ken ajigo hine ka chapters a meeting na ka ajsha but ediado besikilta hashna do le aro le seheledi sto Intech. They're hosting their robotics competition, so I will be participating with that on Saturday. Sunday go on that the A chapter meeting I will be there exercising my right as a Torion Star Lake chapter resident and citizen. Please participate in your chapter meetings. Quorum with Yahiki Yisabana ni hut adi kwagi haishi badent iniki badini yandent iniki kwagi, your voice needs to be heard. They're watching us, and if we are participating and being a good citizen and being a good community member, that's what they will carry on into the future. Your Navajo Nation Vice President. هشت إشني إين شلات خد نساني باششين كنت لتشيني إيدا شتشي تخدشيني إيدا شنالة. So thank you so much everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. أشي كورو division directors لدز إحنا هيز أحناناتي. Have a good afternoon. هقونا.
Yat A. Thomas Cody, which has on slint, Hatness on the Bush's chin, now Kaidinate, that should say Doma, Ediskis International Division, Executive Director for Division of Social Service to ARJ Shata Anish. Nahata Anishiki, Division, Department of Child Care Service, a Chini Yajaba, the Haya, but a quiet baby in his condition, he Nahal China, the Bata Hayan, go Nihido Nahot, a Masan and another shaded the Noslini, or Mayajit a data the Noslini, Nihin Hot, a Asnan he, Din Hilchinabata, Hiliado, no Sengo, Edo, Kodon Habik, Nihich, Siliado, Les Ado, Hashin Soko, one has Anigita, and the hot equal quite nature minor renovation yisne ado chini relative care yisne quite in hot shik edo shit the nature President Nygren in his no hinant and his no a shan hot chinin latte a pipa big eba haliado les Bezad yalt hit or less the neginahidos as the nebe inahidos as no to epana ekajin hot child care development fund now kone independent child care providers are dos chine heda doshik edon hik egita edota on latte Kislanda da shaba hayada no singo edo da Gallup child care shaba haya edo and ha hot edo based on ha holno ado the expansion president ka o hi khayada and hisne khalet the chin ko ba da yan o yo nas nilgo chin do bi ba da hayada she latte loop de hot the na has got building units a expansion of child care is no a president the Nishiki 7 don't lay 7 jet Nishko a ko a did the Nandal Nishi Kwaba China Dadi Nisto Ado Nahon Dal Nisho Ado Nada Yit Lat or later Kwai a hota in the hot on Hadia, John Haba, Hayado, Yandi, or Yilisto, Ato, Hababa, Baholond or late. What at child care development funnies. Adona Konege, the vision of self-reliance to a koja ba haya a dos asaha chin ba hojilio a dai a masando and a chain of thin chin ba a dog a base of bandi nil a quack is dot hitch is lad or let chin bomata ba hat hasti do a dai and hiteba hosiango a dog a base of hitch is a lad or letiki naha hot a Department of Self-Reliance is an acorn and Chinle, the Adonai Tuba City, Shiprock, Farmington, Gallup, Ado Aqua, Window Rock, the Dabas Condak, Adonai Dalcon, the Dosabisko, Ato a is Chinaba, Hosnia in hitch is loudly, a Kota a deep beso, a corn, as this. Dahido no dahaki apen ye kodo president in hisne hasit ko the best owners ne don latte ni ke best hata del jo eslato be ni ka iliet na konne e di chiz khodina do chiz be best da da do ne e kwa chiz do ta da e do propane da e lot ni another net or less February days that go a quite e di an hit chapters the application nas nilo dilne den the hasata le hala chapters do CHRs AI that was better has the khashin but by ka do the wasliki a ko band chapters band not khad or the nte zeto inta kateta ka late February the has the inta ko the applications national do le the sto die shan seta hot eda ni ka the bote na khat illa the end of tablet so ni ka do lo chapter kun dal nishito ni ka do lo na kha do li do da na kha chen da na kha do li a han do so ko do beso la ni che ho do ni na kun chine be beso chine jo base ba has an do ko do president do based on han ne da school clothing da be na sha alkidan hot nas grasa ko don kha al neto le February do chine school clothing ban nada ni do le hot eda ye sko skunda sigelia at an need beso di October do hoste na hanani de ge at na kha al neto le February don na de zidiki ado khone Sha lein chin dan hik Asian lan leg kinda nas jot the kid hat Phoenix do Albuquerque don le Salt Lake City da Denver Colorado the basic with all president lan ha ho yin ni the nebe ka do was hey o yo digitally COVID nas ne da o yo kid ho one big so like kid so link rent idaka I see a ho one jil niko jo kede jile quite be a cut na awo okay January 22nd na di next week na di na kedo there's nothing on net application nada need to let what nasa gas just $54 a con ni trahob el need to let next week 100 application nana net a native community capital no in the was the Phoenix because I ni kai applications na process it na kunna Operation Rainbow Bridge jo ein hik hashin tsago o yo beson he elia la the meal so beson ne he elia sato bekati ja no koto president a yego betis a halet on hit na ot hit hon nito o what no di Washington do President Biden na so sigi la kote di on hit na hot it Medicare, Medicaid, jo de beso hidden le access to host dodge. Sato, the hin hit Harlan hin beso state of the United States, the state of Arizona, Satoni can't do what Hashit Adi to Hajo, ni Kaos yet annoy, Nihinant President Nygren, President Biden, the Washington, that does a diet illa. Kunna ebenate to na sosi sato yin snige Bernard Sanders chairman hoje beson da hitet acho senate jiko da hawanish da bet ne acho launch da sta na sosi ni kode hohot an hi ka do ja halit de Washington de beso da hiten teko bennache laat on uniki ebenache beso be elia no ade kote ni ka do ja no konal sosigila ado khona ye khonjo Robert Elderholt lieto aje sto beso nan de hiki hikeda des sto kote ni ka do ja no jo tra mal so kon igila ishi next week do ash ada shon atskil ko adet ni ehna do zilto di lan hik kit da honni baganda da den only hos do de ado Albuquerque da o chita hide de sky jo ben na ikit heke jo da atlani da jitlani ado na ota ishin ze instant slide da chita jo iniki jo ben na a ko hota hotza be ka do liki haishink da akwada da hawan sabanda do nil jo hota dinal sos president la ko hun sako ben hilna hote sneto hajon ha chinaba da hasniado na chinaba tsada do zid ashode yego da hido ato die Sani doch ist Twitter das lo in Jonko da hinna dole jocht ait sind das ko do ja und so nicht hast sie dole
Ja, Sikeros na dan genatlido dan hisnos agi. Se ja kodo. Alt so hannen hit jo da sliten son khania. Se ja Mike Hollona da sitjene. Le trohat en horieda ara kishik do nen slibet an in slow shin basishin trohan da snelle kia ani da sitje. Hot nen sla. Akodi kujid net Washington, the Initiative Division of Natural Resource, actually, President Nygren, Bittendale, Nesto, Nasa Dest, Don Hanaha, Bikaho, they need Nisto Halet, Adola, that they need no, by Gayadel, Kidon the Hate. Okay. San hil khodesh ne di eko inge enda hoiz chohatne ani hot en lego ko ashon ngedat zado alt so ngenda hat ngenda ta ho aise kadas lesnana akotat aho yakui khodo khatnas nalbsna has un chapters hat ni hombel ta hat ne nda hoiz igi ado ha even in ha ila aise hunsen Haila nahot egi chisdat yandat haila ako edigi job startna eben in nach ekoro nikato gotli bahazen khad lanchiran ero be bahazen ako dis lat zetlonda kadabdi ninigi cloud was loud what that hegi kodo Division of Natural Resources the Nishigi Rangers the Wildlife Conservation Officer Park Rangers what that Ebenanis and that what that nay can't that hakoda but that no Haban so case totally I don't end it contact that Nisha no about a hundred peso that on ARPA peso that any hate archudo in so he 11 hele card the jacket no Aje da anisido eyes bit that the card had late art at all nicht bini nani di jo adola leho ako diba has on quabic here. Hey, ado ha haljuge the pepinal sauce that your saucy biji in hon in that nas ado not nashin that na sadan dal ka ado in that competition wall at that chinido ado len hit eldon hit zay that hot abata hayani benina aje hot that ido and del ka hard ladla ako 80 just hotal in ho in the ado chahanisha no ako 80 that to kas donan cloud that or nicht Hage lat behas ani dat begin dat sie toni dat acquired dat beget all chon Hage lat jot up on date halit or nicht la kodon dal nishido hit yon hina nishida in dole halit skinklo ado le no dat dole land sotiki halit skinklo about the nabacha bahato zinc skinklo ado le ve la ado le jo hata il kit Ako den dina nishigi hage las a hot out nit di ho basin to Casey that be yeto that's a initial 18 dollars donan other that's a dollar hot that deal nit no hot la hot at the hot za dot at the whole lado hot today on be not that niskat Ako di arpa be peso that anasa ho ya di chedal cheda kahigi bata torni ho one gunne bathroom addition juta beti na la khait tinka bata torni juta di no Ako di kodo the Division of Natural Resource the Navajo Land Department the General Land Development ARG ke that is ya jo that need in juta di ni Ako eba banda sit in ahot yati kudo homicide li so lege do begast get that dodly do de ni ke the dodly skin lo ba dodly at ko al ya go chit go shin in the de pa ha dodly so pa dodly juda da ni ado di ho one sa ho ya sesson da he do ne da dil khalta ado kudo bukado get ast ke da ni tsa tro da yodlo ade da skado trona han troda hat lebenina ado ahotat renovation jutabdi ne ahotat do ha ila ben yeb homesite lista yokke jutadi no banda sit in ero na hotor ni aro led hota hede bogan na hot ya bebe ka do what a hosh a quantity homesite list ge height ada ba dort ni ja skintlo dort ni ge ja behas ani etro hata dilia Halet dort ni to behas ani gin to kas ado tahot dort ni chuta di no nal sosigi kada tro hata dilia akoti koje base bahasa an betsana nili aji ta anisigi resource development committee del na betsana nili ki kaya ta ke das in has ani lana ile ako kapat banal sosi kan yen dadnes khade tordni ado het tordni to ado ya na has ani ki pa tordni skintlo al dodle jo ne ke het ho wonsa the nature da os ako benina benina skintlo al dodle skintlo nal so si ba lek da do nik ako do banan tropa ha do senil espetja ha do jo hot hot hata ya ako di kuje bebna baseball has an at aja hahoshi ikida yada to kito hashi nata to na kita moda the cut the moda ako ako shit dodli ako hot ata ilago yada sin kodobe na hanne to kade say do be has ani nak do be la as to kat kodo kati accident hiditi ado yati Navajo Land Department, the agency office, the Tuba City, Chin Lee, Shiprock, Crown Point, do aqua, Tagaho, Sunday, Humbasna has the has to got, not toss has to lead. Ado and the debate in the case at Nini, Ado Haydot, Hado and Ado Kudost, Ado had a dot kill, High Lana run. Heidi la require quire who one mother sa other kodo kensa other where the pebble run a quire case and quire at chudon into not necessarily not out nature than nearly what that satellite will he paid in what yet not necessarily in hot ordinance other yeti na sazado that chini ba haya de shnina jo ata kaya chose in cho what ebony nacha ata chose in ebony nacha not that in ni do he kate ni kai what na chose ba da do ni la ko do nan ada do le jo do ni la ko what be ni do shne don khayos nata question ko do na nilsko hot question in han sa case so halet do nit la skintlo do nilto de ho one da so kan da khade ho one nas nilte de in han si ke halet na ba do wo do le do nan ago pa ta do ni jo ban sa case do question hot ya ban si case so ko do question Edels ako hot ado en detta ja nasje het dat dit niet kudo Washington bet sa hitli BIA hat ni at la hot an den da huis atkin nan aro e ku centraho hachu do England edo kwagin het an ha do lit ab di no e binin na che ado let kinklo e nas hota net do lit di no e sin na kid the more that a bit hit later late e hota e are en ha il kit hat yatel kit e di e the nebukat di Bukati Jatadi, no, even in Nacha, what education now. A quarter is a can hit the desk, and talk good on Hunza, and he not it out, it's not trying though a jot at a Hasiat or late. Though Ado a kun hit eight of one, not ha. Edo Halet a other. Keda hat Elan that was that's a Edo Bukan that what or late. I showed it. I call Hunso, a young chance, or it. I can't.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Platero. I'm the director for Navajo Nation Department of Transportation. I've been with Navajo DOT since January 1st, so it's been an interesting few weeks. One of the things that I'd like to say is we're going to be recruiting for positions within Navajo DOT. We have a number of positions that are going to be advertised soon. We have 7, 8 that are open right now. We need a program manager for the airport management. We need a program manager for highway safety, an office specialist for administration, senior contract analyst for administration, senior public information officer for administration, 2 motor coach operators for the transit system in Tuba City, and we need a transit manager for the transit program within Fort Defiance. I want to start my presentation by saying thank you to the roads department during the recent snowstorms. The initial review of the mileage was about 3,000 miles. So they did a whole bunch of work in a few days, and we want to say thank you to all the ladies and gentlemen that work within that undertaking. So we're trying to work with as many of our partners as we can to get the roads cleared. We do still have a lot of requests coming in for clearances on private roads, and we need to come up with a policy on how we're going to handle that. It's not really covered underneath our current plan of operation, but we'll be working with our oversight committee to get clarification on that so that we can make sure that we follow the rules that are in place. Since I came to Navajo DOT, one of the things that I've been working on is a division assessment. There's some work that needs to be done in personnel, get things caught up. We need to get our finance in order. We got to create internal controls. We got to identify separation of duties. We got to create a more formalized reporting system. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is actually having an internal performance audit. So that's all part of the assessment process of what do we do well, what can we do better, and just really a look at our systems and controls that are in place. The next item that we're taking a look at is personnel. We really need to come up with a recruitment and retention plan. And unfortunately, we didn't advertise positions for a long time, and that's why there'll be a whole slew of them coming up. We need to work on being able to pay competitive salaries. There are county people that need operators. There are state people that need operators, trucking companies that need operators. So we need to work with them to make sure that what we're paying is competitive with those. An interesting program that we're going to be working on and trying to develop is a random drug and alcohol testing for our transportation staff, because we want to make sure that we're accountable. We want to create job descriptions for each of the positions within the Navajo DOT. We want an onboarding process, a training plan for all of our staff. And then as far as accountability, we're going to be working with the highway safety unit to create a motor vehicle driving clearance. There's a number of people that receive tribal permits from the Navajo Nation, and the review is actually not done within highway safety, but we reviewed their plan of operation and it allows them to do that. And so we're going to be running driving record reports on all individuals that want to be issued a Navajo Nation tribal permit. So we want to institute as quickly as we can, but in order to formalize that process, we're going to need to create a policy and have it reviewed through the 164 review process, and then take it over to legislative for a review and recommendation by our oversight committee, which is the Resources and Development Committee. The other thing that we're going to be working on is increasing capacity. Engineering is one section that we really need to work on. We want to create an engineering and training program. We want to create a CDL program where people can work with Navajo DOT to get their CDL, and they can become a bus driver, or they could be one of our operators, or they could go get a job with a trucking company. And the other one that we want to push for is during the summer, we want to offer a transportation internship for our college students, so that the students, while they're still in school and are on their summer break, they can come and work with us at Navajo DOT to get a feel for what it's like to work in a transportation environment. The other priority that we have that has been given to me as the director for DOT is to work on developing gravel pits. And we're going to be working with our transportation partners to develop gravel pits. And what we want to do is make it where we use our material in the Navajo Nation, as opposed to trying to import materials from the outside, which is the standard process. The other area that we'll be taking a look at is road maintenance. We really need to improve our communication with our communities during this last snow process. It was difficult. We don't really have a formalized system of how we communicate with the Navajo DOT, with the BIA, with the county, with the state. So we got to all get together and kind of say, when we go into snow removal or any kind of response, how are we going to communicate with one another so everybody knows what's going on? So we want to make sure that that's done. We also want to create a process for requests for services, because right now there is no formalized process. We want to work with our planning section to have chapter requests that are in resolution come through the planning section within DOT and be assigned to one of the units within DOT. The part that we're looking at is really tracking road maintenance activities. We have a system that's internal now, but we want to update it so that it's available on our website so people can actually see what's going on out there when they get a chance. The other one that within road maintenance and basically overall for transportation is we need to create a safety officer position that will make sure that all of our staff are as safe as possible, and making sure that as we interact with the public that we're as safe as possible. And then the last part that we need to be working on is really improving our transparency. We need a better Navajo DOT website. We need information to be accessible to the public. We want to put information out on the Navajo Times, KTNN, so that the public knows what we're doing. And we really want to increase an opportunity for local communities to have input into the transportation planning process. So those are a few things that we're working on. We do have, it's been an interesting 3 weeks, we'll put it that way. We've gotten some things done already. But a lot of it is just coordination, reaching out to our partners within the state. I've received some inquiries from them to start setting up meetings, and so it should be an interesting process. I started out with DOT years ago, and then I came back. I had requested President if I could move back to DOT, and I was fortunate enough to be given that opportunity to do that. So I look forward to working with everybody in the community. Again, my name is Tom Platero. I'm the director for Navajo DOT. You can reach me by email at tplatero@navahodot.org. And I just want to say thank you for everything, and appreciate it. Yeah.
Hey, Yarat, hey, Navajo Nation. This is your Navajo Nation President, Dr. Boo Nygren. It's good to see you guys this afternoon, and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And I just want to say thank you. I know that you could be doing something else, but you're here tuned in to listen to all the updates from our executive directors You probably heard from my vice president as well on all the good work that we're doing on behalf of each and every one of you. So again, continue to be blessed, continue to look out for one another. And I just want to say Yat and good afternoon before we jump into my little script here. But again, for those of you that probably listen to the Navajo version at 1 o'clock, KGAK, KNDN, and KTNN, you know what I'm going to talk about. So don't tell anybody, okay? Just kidding. So again, I'm tuning in here from Window Rock, but on the radio, I did say I was making my way back from Pueblo Pintado, which I was. And so I just barely got back into the office. We were out in Pueblo Pintado, brand new senior center. Wow. Lots of kudos to Department of Health, Division of Community Development, everyone that worked on that project. It was a beautiful grand opening. We had a traditional groundbreaking or opening of the facility. We had pastors there. It was such a wonderful ceremony to see that a 4,000 square foot facility looks very Nijoni. And so it was good to be there. It was good to be there with our elders. A lot of our elders were there too. So it was good to speak to them all in Denebazad. So again, I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in. And so upcoming holidays or appreciation days. Today is National Winnie the Pooh Day. Don't think that Winnie the Pooh just showed up, okay? It's been almost 100 years since Winnie the Pooh made its debut. So I know that our grandmas and our great-grandmas and our Chays, they all know about Winnie the Pooh. So today is Winnie the Pooh Day. And I know that my little daughter, I know she likes it when I say bear. So again, just all of us have watched many, many movies for a long time with Winnie the Pooh and continue to advocate for that. It's the second highest grossing animated cartoon character, right behind Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse continues to be undefeated. So you never know. Some new cartoon might come up and overtake Mickey Mouse. We will see. But moving on, local announcements. January is National Radon Action Month. I know a lot of us are probably, what is radon? Radon is a radioactive decay of uranium that comes from the ground. And a lot of times there's certain homes that are built and they'll have a pipe, that kind of PVC pipe that's built under the house, and it goes through the house and through the roof so that the radon can make its way out through the roof of the house. So again, some of us might not know some of that scenarios are happening. So the Navajo Nation Radon Program can provide you a test kit to test it at home as well. So I know people like myself, and when I was getting this update this morning, I was like, I want to get that test kit for my personal home back home in Red Mesa, just to see if there's anything that I should be worried about, because you never know. You absolutely never know until you test it out. So again, come by the Navajo Nation Radon Program and pick up a short-term test kit. It's free to the public, and find out if you're affected by radon, because if it's there, it's very harmful to your respiratory system. It can lead to lung cancer and other major health issues. So again, it's better to be sure than not sure. So again, come on by Navajo Nation Radon Program, and we'll give a call to my office, and they'll be able to give you the phone number and address to where you can pick up a kit. So we'll go from there. And then also grand opening this Monday. Northern Arizona Veterans Administration Clinic opens in Chinle, Arizona. So again, it's going to be first of its kind. VA and IHS are partnering together to get this clinic open. First of its kind, from what I'm hearing and the facts that are being provided with me. It's been 15 years that this project's been talked about, and it's finally going to happen. So it's exciting to see that facility open. So come on by in Chinle, Arizona. It's starting at 10 a.m. And they'll be able to let you know on all the services that are going to be available to our veterans. Again, just last week, as I mentioned here in a little bit, is I was out testifying before Congress about how can we continue to partner together on a one-on-one basis. But more of these types of clinics are going to be coming to Navajo. The first one's going to be in Kayenta and Tuba City as well. So Kayenta and Tuba City will be the other areas that are going to run with this as well. And we've got a lot of support too from our Congressman Eli Crane. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he's really been championing all of our activities when it comes to our Navajo veterans. So thank you, Congressman Eli Crane, for your support and your continued advocacy for all Native American veterans. I appreciate that. And also, so that's kind of some of the news out there when it comes to our Veterans Administration. And really, I'm looking forward to, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it though, because that's the first day of the State of the Nation to the Navajo Nation Council on January, or for the winter session. So I'll be there on Monday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try to make it there. And let's see if I can make it there and make sure I make my appointment for the State of the Nation, which is 12. So we'll figure that out. I'm not quite sure. I might give the state. Well, I might go the next day. We'll figure that out. So again, thank you for tuning in. So moving on, I think I got time for this announcement. I didn't have time for it in the radio address, but food handlers training is going to be happening at Crystal Chapter 10 o'clock on January 24th. So for those of you that want to sign up, call Miss Big Horse 928-871-7940 for $5 for 6 months and $10 for 1 whole year. So I know that you might get it, and then we're going to make sure we call you. So we're going to always make sure we need extra people a food handler's permit. Even I might get my food handler's permit so I can practice my Hadnilra skills. So again, thank you. Moving on, Navajo Highways comes to Moab January 19th. And so it's a really interesting, fun puppet show that Pete Sands and his group has put together. So if you're in the Moab area, January 19th, which is tomorrow, 6 p.m., stop on by and see Navajo Highways with Pete Sands and some young Navajo individuals that are really trying to promote language, promote our area, promote our culture, promote being Navajo. So again, many kudos to Pete Sands and his group. And if you're in the area, stop on by. The performance is going to be Aji free. And so make your way over there. Moving on, missing Navajo people. There's a 43-year-old Jamie J. Yazzie, last seen December 12th, Kayenta, Arizona, 5'8", 143 pounds. So if you know the whereabouts of Yazzie, call 928-697-5600, Kayenta Police. And 17-year-old Alana Lee Jackson, last seen January 19th, Tonalea, Arizona, 5'1". If you've got information, call Tuba City Police Department, 928-283-3111. And also 38-year-old Myron Begay, last seen Monday, January 15th at Chinley's Bashes. He's got a tattoo on his arm with Elijah B. Again, if you've seen him, call Chinley Police Department at 928-674-2111. I know that through your help, through your efforts, and making sure that we're helping our individuals and our relatives find their loved ones, it's come a long ways, and that's always been a part of my program. Ever since October, we started doing the weekly address and on the radio, because a lot of our relatives, especially during this time when the weather is tough, the road conditions are tough, and it's just hard to get around. We got to make sure we keep track of our relatives if they've gone missing. And then found Navajo people, Chanel Dawn Redhorse has been located. She's with her family and her relatives. Before this, she was last seen September 12th at Taco Bell in Levine, Arizona. So I'm very happy for the Red House family that their relative is back home with them. And then what is happening in the world? New Mexico introduces paid leave and medical leave legislation. 12 weeks of paid leave for employees who have a new child or care for family members with serious illness or manage their health. Again, that's legislation that's going to be going through the state of New Mexico. And it'll probably, if it does get through the House and the Senate, it'll make its way to Governor Lujan. So again, I think those are just for some families that are that really trying to figure out if we can get 12 weeks of paid leave during that time. So that's what's happening in the world, even though it's right next door in New Mexico. This time in history, on this date in 1983, International Olympics Committee reinstates Olympic gold medals for Saxon Fox athlete Jim Thorpe. So he is considered a premier athlete right behind Babe Ruth and Michael Jordan in the 20th century. So that is a big win for all of Indian country to be considered to be in the same highlights of Babe Ruth and Michael Jordan. So again, it's good to always recognize our Native American athletes, from basketball to track to hockey to everything in between. So again, it's good to know that on this day, they reinstated his Olympic gold medals. He played football, played baseball. He played all sorts of things, definitely with the first president of the NFL, too. And so that's a fun fact, too, to know about Jim Thorpe. And all his official records were reinstated officially July 2022. So, again, it took that long to reinstate his victories. Moving on, Navajo life lesson. Slow down and take the time to enjoy the moment and the small things. So that's one of those things where we get so busy with deadlines and jobs and to-do lists and everything. And next thing you know, you forget about yourself. Always continue to slow down and enjoy what you're doing at the moment and really realize, how do you continue to be present? How can you help one another? And how can you continue to make sure that you acquire a lot of the things that need to happen? So again, slow down, take some time, and spend some time to visit with family and some of your friends. A long time ago, I remember picking piñons with my grandma, my mom, my relatives up in Carrizo Mountain. And it would be, next thing you know, it's start of the day and end of the day. And we've got sacks of piñons stacked up in Bluebird. So again, those are some of the things I remember, enjoying the moment, being present, and time flies and you get to spend quality time as well. So again, to be an effective worker, you got to also make sure you take care of yourself mentally and physically as well, so that you can be really good at your job. So that's the Navajo Life Lesson of the Week. Some of the week's accomplishments for the week: Central Agency Council meeting. That happened on Saturday. It was such a good meeting. I got to see all of our chapter officials from all of Central Agency. We had honorable council delegates there, like we had Honorable Shauna Claw. We had Carl Slater, we had Simonson, we had Speaker Curley, and a few others that were there that were very present. And one of the things that I told them was, this was my first one, but we wanted to make sure that my house was in order here in Window Rock before I start making my tours and trying to figure out how do we continue to work with chapter at the local level and push a lot of their initiatives. So it's good to be there. They're very happy, very appreciative. And I did let them know that they're going to see me on a quarterly basis. The only tough part is going to be Northern and Western. I just really hope, if you're listening, let's not have your meetings on the same weekend or the same day, because I want to attend both of them and not decide which one to go to again. So that was a good meeting with the Central Agency Council meeting. Lots of good things to talk about, from ARPA all the way to the Navajo partition land to visits. I did promise the chapter officials from Piñon that I was going to make a visit out there and meet with them and really review the Navajo partition land and figure out how can we continue to help Sarah, our executive director, and the Navajo Land Commission to really help those affected families as well. So again, it was great dialogue. And as I told the chapter officials all there, I said, you know what, the easiest way to get a meeting with the president is a couple of you come together, reach out to your council delegate, and I will elevate that priority as high as possible so I can move certain meetings around, and I'll make time to make sure we meet with our council delegate and our chapter officials, because in order to move government, in order to move the things that we want to accomplish here in government, you got to make sure our chapter officials, the president, and the council delegate, we're all on the same page, because we're all on the same mission. As I mentioned to all of you, we're all on the same mission to try to help our Navajo people, help our communities. And it's a lot easier when all of us are on the same page. And then we, as I mentioned earlier, testified before Congress, the U.S. House Committee on Rural Health Care Access. My plea to them was, our rural Navajo veterans travel way too far. Albuquerque, Phoenix, Salt Lake, Denver, those are hours away. The reimbursement that they get for mileage is not even enough to cover their gas, cover their food, and the families that they're taking. So it's such a strenuous task to go get big time services again. So I really encourage them to really consider, besides the clinic that they're working on, the Chinle, the Kayenta, and the Tuba City, I'm really encouraging them to build a bigger facility with the services that are at a VA medical center down in the bigger metropolitan areas, because there's veterans too in Farmington, Cortez, Gallup. It'd be a lot easier for them to go to Chinle at a nice VA facility that's on Navajo as well. The other one was major projects we're working on. This is a major project we're working on. I signed the contract to start the pre-construction and design for the Shiprock Incident Command Center, to really push that forward, because it's going to house EMS, fire station. It's going to be a police substation, emergency response, and it's going to be house other administration, 25,000 square feet. And it's really going to make sure that we can be able to respond to some of our families in our communities. I know that Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton is still working on the bigger facility, and I hope that actually we find some funding to actually build those big facilities all across Navajo as well. But in the meantime, this is an incident command center that's going to really be needed. So I signed the contract to get that started, and the next contract will be the construction contract. So again, that's going to be the exciting part, to make sure that we really get the ball rolling for the Shiprock Northern Agency community as well. And then the Rama chapter was able to get internet connection. Not only Rama chapter, they got Pine Hill and Pine Hill Health Center and they were able to get fiber through some of the initiatives that we've been pushing for the past year. So again, I'm glad that they're connected. The Rama chapter library is connected to the internet. That's where our people, our community, our children, people are growing up, are going to be able to have access to the internet. Sometimes we take it for granted. There's a lot of communities that are still without it, a lot of families without it, but the more and more families we can connect to the internet, the more we can position ourselves as a nation, and it strengthens us as a nation as a whole as well too. So then some meet and greets. Some of you know I've kind of met First Lady and I, we've kind of taken some evenings to some games that are close in vicinity. Some of the games we've attended recently was the Tohatchee versus Farmington game. Great game to see a lot of our Navajo athletes go back and forth and make things happen again. As president, as I've always said, if it's a full Navajo team, I will cheer for both teams because I represent every single 400,000 plus Navajos that are registered as a Navajo. So again, I as a president, you'll see me cheering for both sides of the court. So again, I appreciate that. But usually the home team likes for me to sit on their side. So don't be upset if I'm sitting on the home team side. But I'll cheer for both sides as well too. So and then I met with Chili Yazzie and his group, the TBA Alliance group out of Shiprock. It's a nonprofit that's really trying to promote farming and really food sovereignty. And I told Chili and his group that they've got my support, and we're working on support letters to the state of New Mexico so that they can get additional funding from state of New Mexico, and they can really continue to push their nonprofit work to try to regenerate a lot more farmers, to promote food sovereignty. So again, I'm all about people that really want to help themselves and promote utilizing our land and our water so that they can help themselves and help our communities as well. So thank you to Honorable Chili Yazzie and the Shiprock community as well for coming out here and visiting with me. I look forward to the many more success that you're going to bring to our nation in Northern Navajo as well. And then as mentioned, I just came from a grand opening of Pueblo Pintado, beautiful senior center. It was nice. The walls weren't crooked. The ceilings weren't wavy, and everything looked very good. So again, kudos to the community. Kudos to DCD. Big shout out to Andy Thomas as well, the project manager from CPMD and DCD as well, for really coordinating and making sure that senior center came together very nice. And then the other meet and greet was First Lady and I went to the Miramar Patriots versus Farmington game as well. And so that was a great game here in Gallup. It was a wonderful game. The hospitality, the school, the principal, the students, and it was an exciting evening to see a lot of our relatives on both sides of the court. Same thing. A lot of our Navajo people play on both sides of the team, and I got to cheer for both sides, but I was right behind the scoring. So they assume I was with the home team so as well. So again, just many kudos to all of our families, our relatives that really support our Navajo athletes. I know some of you pack into those vehicles to make sure you get to those basketball games. I just want to say thank you. The love and support that you give our Navajo athletes, our relatives, because without that support, they want to be encouraged to do the work that they want to do and pursue the athletic dreams that they have as well. So again, they're learning all sorts of skill sets when they're playing sports: dedication, determination, learning how to deal with loss, learning how to deal with coming from behind and making things happen. And so again, thank you. Many kudos to all the parents and the teachers and the coaches and everybody involved to help our athletes. Again, then there was the Tsaili Wheatfields visit. Definitely Tsaili, Wheatfields, White Clay, some of the areas, the high elevations on Navajo that have been hit hard. So again, I made some time to be out there and really help them, support them as well. And a lot of grandmas out there all by themselves, and I had to come see them and visit them and at least bring them some small care packages like some potatoes, some flour and some Spam and things like that, and some wood. And thank you to Apache County as well, to Apache County Supervisor Shepard, Supervisor Shirley, for really promoting that area and really doing what you can to support our people. So thank you for your leadership, and a big shout out to every one of you CHR workers. During tough times like this, you are out there trying to help our family, our communities, and you're doing what you can because you love your people and you love your elders and you want to do what you can to help them. So as your president, I'll continue to do what I can to support you so that you have the tools that you need to do your job well. upcoming events, Monday, like as I mentioned earlier, the start of the Navajo Nation Council winter session. I'll be giving the state of the Navajo Nation to the council on Monday as well too. So if you'll be tuning in, it'll be on the council's live feed and my feed as well. So it'll be exciting to dialogue with our leaders, because at the end of the day, we're leaders for the Navajo people. The more tight-knit, the more focused we are, the more we help one another, we can get so much more accomplished. So that's always my main goal. I know that I might get some questions that most people will get offended about, but end of the day, I just think about the focus is you all. The focus is how can we support and will this help an individual out there. So again, that's always my focus. And then on Wednesday, the Eastern Navajo Veterans Organization is meeting. Look forward to chatting with them and chatting with the organization and our veterans, and really trying to continue to support them as well too. So again, in closing, I just want to say thank you so much. It's an honor to be your Navajo Nation president on a weekly basis. I do update you on a weekly basis on everything that's happening around the world, around us with the Navajo, and some of the big plans that we're working on. So I appreciate that. And again, I highly encourage those of you that really want to hear Navajo, tune into Spotify or tune into Apple Podcasts, or turn on the radio right at 1 o'clock on KGAK, KNDN, and KTNN. So with that being said, this is your Navajo Nation president, Dr. Boo Nygren. Hagone.
Oh yeah,